Hello, friends. I hope you're all doing good. This is a discussion that we have on the topic of money laundering. The objective of the discussion would be to help you to understand that what money laundering is all about, and also at the same time understand that how this money laundering is done. At the end of the discussion, you will be in a position to understand this process involved, and also at the same time appreciate that how this concept unfolds within the orbit of the larger law enforcement agencies operating in the society. Now, when we look at the topic of money laundering, there are few things, friends, you need to be very careful about. How did this term actually originate? So, when we look at the origin of the term called money laundering, it's very surprising, friends, that the first ever origin of the term money laundering was traced back way back to the Chinese, and that too in the 4000 BC. Way back in 4000 BC in China, that is the ancient China. At that time, basically, the business people or the traders who used to do ground level, micro level trade would try to conceal their money, hide their money, basically from the king at that time. And in order to do that, what they would try to do is that they would invest the money in doing business activities which were outside the jurisdiction of the king. For example, let's say this was one piece of territory where there were many businessmen and there is one king here. These businessmen would try to do business activity, trade activity, generate wealth. The king would obviously take taxes on that money, and the taxation used to be quite heavy at that time. We never had the budgets being announced and the income tax slabs being slashed on the demands of the people, etc. So at that time what happened was that the king used to undertake a huge amount of money in the form of taxation. To prevent this money to be taken by the king from for the purpose of taxation, most of these people used to park their money in provinces outside the jurisdiction of the king. So if this is a jurisdiction of one king, there will be another jurisdiction where they will try to park their money. And they would obviously identify those jurisdictions where it would be easier for them to take this wealth. And also at the same time, the tax rates were relatively lower. So, this is how the term actually found its very first mention when we try to study the origin of the term. Similarly, friends, over a period of time, when we understand the concept of money laundering and its gradual evolution, we also understand one more thing, that this term can be then traced to also the modern day US. In United States of America, in the modern times, there were people who basically started doing laundering in a more organized manner. And in fact, what happened in the modern times in US also helped us to understand the evolution of the concept better, and also helped us to get to an understanding where we got the term called money laundering. How do we get that? In US, there were many prohibitions at one point of time on various activities. It is a general nature of humanity and a general tendency of mankind to undertake any activity in a more aggressive manner which is prohibited. Prohibitions apparently at times do not really work, but rather end up in creating parallel systems that circumvent the prohibitions. That's precisely what we saw in the case of US. In US, there were prohibitions on the sale and trade of alcoholic drinks. When there were prohibitions on the sale and trade of alcoholic drinks, what happened at that time? At that time, many people still indulged in the trade of alcohol, and obviously, the money that they generated out of this trade in alcohol was basically illegal money. And this illegal money that they generated was then obviously something which they could not legally use. So they had to find channels, mechanisms, so that they could circumvent and also at the same time do something with this money so that they could legally use it. But don't forget the fact that the origin of this money was through an activity which was prohibited, was through an activity which was illegal. If the money was generated illegally, then how do you ensure that this money which is generated illegally is put to legal use? This is where these people in America who were basically doing these illegal activities tried to find ways out. And they found, apparently, to begin with, the car wash business. At one point of time in America, the car wash business was a very popular business. In this business activity of car wash, there was a tremendous use of coins. Let us also not forget one thing, that in the early modern times, the denomination of currency was primarily small, and currency was primarily in the form of coins. We do not discount the fact that the currency notes never existed, but the currency notes, in fact, were a privilege of a few, while the coins dominated the main circulation. It is in this backdrop, because this was a business which operated on the use of coins, that these people in America who were trying to bypass, circumvent these prohibitions on the trade and sale of alcohol, invested all the money that they generated illegally here into this legal business called the car wash business. The tax laws initially were pretty weak. The tax departments did not have those powers to undertake those mass level investigations in order to identify how these businesses are channelizing their wealth and from where does the wealth originate to where does the wealth finally get invested. Over a period of time, these procedures and standards and mechanisms were established. But this money, which was illegal money, generated through illegal activities, was channelized into a legal business, into a business that operated on the use of cash. And see the beauty, friends. Car wash business is a legal business. And this business is a legal business which operates on the use of coins. And this was the game, that you generate illegal coins here and invest those illegal coins into this legal business, thereby changing the color of the money. And when you invest this illegal money into legal coins, into a legal business here, you are able to generate profits which are totally legal, which are purely legal. And this is how the entire industry originated to begin with. But the question is, that was car wash business the only business where the money got invested? Ironically, friends, it was not the only business. It was a business to start with. Subsequently, as the illegal sale and trade of alcoholic drinks began to increase, many gangsters began to enter into this business. Because after all, any illegal activity will never be done by a respectable person. So here the gangsters entered into this illegal business. These gangsters in America now started doing more sale and more trade of alcoholic drinks. And they started generating more illegal coins. Through these more illegal coins that they generated, they basically now found other businesses which were legal businesses where they could use these coins. Apart from the car wash business, The other business activity, which was legal, which was legitimate, which operated on the use of coins, was an opportunity for these gangsters to transfer this illegally generated wealth into those businesses. And this business that they found now was the business of casinos. And in the casinos, the slot machines. Have you ever wondered that when you go to Goa and you visit these casinos and you go and play some games in the slot machines, and in case you happen to win prizes in the slot machines, have you ever wondered that that casino owner could be such a big hearted fellow who could just shower you with any amount of money for a few coins that you will insert? Do not forget the fact, friends, that the majority of the money in such casinos, in these kind of slot machines, are illegal money. And that is the reason why majority of the states in India today have banned the casino activity. And even where they are not banned, they are highly regulated. For example, in Sikkim and in Goa, highly regulated. Because the potential for misuse is very, very high. What is happening here? The money is generated by the gangsters through this illegal activity called the sale and trade of alcoholic drinks. And that illegal money is now being put to use in a legitimate business called the casino business. The casino business has a legitimate activity not prohibited by the law at that time in America called these slot machines. And see the beauty that when you invest this money into these slot machines, what happens? You are changing the color of this illegal wealth into now legal wealth. But a question may come to your mind that when am I generating illegal wealth through sale and trade of alcohol, and if I am putting it in casino and giving it as a prize, am I not the end loser? Think about it. Are you genuinely, as a casino owner, an end loser? Sir, these casinos, these slot machines are all gambling. In gambling, there is no science. It's sheer coincidence. It's pure luck. You insert one coin in the slot machine, you may end up in winning 100 coins. And I use the word you may. I am not saying you insert one coin in the slot machine and you will get 100 coins. There's a difference. You insert one coin in a slot machine, you may get 100 coins. You insert 100 coins in a slot machine, you may not get one coin. It's pure coincidence. It's pure luck. It's not in your hands. It's not in the casino owner's hands. And if it is not in anyone's hands, then this is how you make money. What if a person goes to a casino, puts 100 coins in that machine, and doesn't generate or earn even one single coin? Those 100 coins that you inserted were your legal, legitimate money, were invested in a slot machine which operated with coins generated from an illegal source. And the legal money got mixed with the illegal money. And there is no way to verify or check it at that time in America. So these gangsters in America found this as the new mechanism to circumvent, to bypass the procedures entirely. And slot machines now became the most preferred route for these gangsters after the car wash business, through which they could channelize their illegal wealth in a legal way. But we still never got the term, even by then. What was happening at that time was that the illegal money was being channelized and it was being put into the legal sources. But we still did not get the term. The term came a little later. And when we say that the term came a little later, it's important to understand another thing, that these gangsters who were doing illegal activity of undertaking sale and trade of alcoholic drinks, when they generated the illegal money, now started putting this money into the laundry business. In America, people have this habit of washing their clothes. There is a sense of cleanliness amongst people in US. Unlike, you know what I mean. People change their clothes regularly and they wash them. And to wash them, they go to laundry centers, which are also called laundromats. Those laundry centers, those laundromats, are places where you have big washing machines being placed. People go there, they put their dirty clothes inside a washing machine, they insert some coins, and through those coins, the washing machine begins to operate. The number of coins that you need to insert are dependent upon the quantum and the amount and the weight of the clothes that you have. The machine automatically, after you put the clothes, will portray a amount in front of you and you have to insert that number of coins. Now see the beauty, that when you insert those coins that you have earned from whatever your source may be, which obviously is going to be a legitimate source because you are not one of those gangsters, you are putting your hard-earned money into a business, into an activity, into a laundry machine, so that you are able to clean your dirty clothes. And as I stated some time back, the taxation laws regarding wealth generation, regarding wealth creation, regarding the source of wealth, regarding the movement of wealth, all these were not that developed in America at that time as they are today. Laundry business was yet another business that operated through the use of coins. In this business, these gangsters again put their money, which was earned through illegal sources, which was the illegal coins that they had, and they beautifully blended this like a Starbucks coffee, the illegal generated wealth with the legally generated money that people were putting in this legitimate business. And with the confluence of the two, all the money that eventually was taken out of the laundry business was legal wealth. Because when you are putting your legal money into a laundry machine, the laundry machine will already have some coins. Because these gangsters will already put some coins there. The income tax department in the America is not going to come and verify each machine individually to see that how many coins are there in the machine already in advance. So you put some coins, you get more coins, you take out all coins, and everything is legal for you. When you go to the bank and you tell the banks that, see, I have a bunch of coins that I need to put in my account, and if the bank asks you what do you do, from where you got the money as such, you say, I got it from the laundry business that I have. The bank is not going to come along with the tax department to verify in each laundry business by sitting there every day that how much money are you generating. So the fact of the matter is, friends, very clear that laundry business yet again became the third and the most important business for these gangsters to undertake the generation of illegal wealth. And this money that they eventually generated now was channelized through the laundry business, thereby giving the term money laundering. Thereby giving the term money laundering. What is happening in the laundry business? Or what is happening inside a laundry machine? In a laundry machine, you are putting your dirty clothes, and those clothes eventually become clean. And what is happening in money laundering? That you put your dirty money, blend it with some clean money, and your money becomes clean. So, what exactly is money laundering in the security context? Money laundering in the security context is an attempt to basically clean the money or change the color of the money or blend the illegal money in such a way with legal money that the entire illegal money is given the appearance of legal money. The idea here is similar to that of the laundry business. In a laundry business, what are you trying to do? In a laundry machine, in a machine, washing machine that you have in your house, what do you do? In that washing machine that you have in your house, you are putting all your dirty clothes. And when you put your dirty clothes, those dirty clothes become clean. But they will become dirty again. And then again you will keep on cleaning them. Are you getting this idea? So the sole objective of money laundering is what? To do the laundry of money. To clean the money. And how do you clean the money? You clean the money in this manner that you identify those mechanisms that enable you, those mechanisms that allow you, those mechanisms that give you this opportunity. And most of these mechanisms, as we have seen in the three examples in front of us, ironically are legal mechanisms. It's not necessary always that the mechanisms that you are likely to use to change the color of this illegal to legal money is going to be always illegitimate, because in majority of the cases the money which is generated illegally is turned into legal money through some legal instrument. I am again repeating the fact that it does not happen in every case, but it does happen in majority of the cases. The car wash business was a legal business. There's nothing illegal about car wash business. The casino business is a legal business. There's nothing illegal about owning a slot machine in a casino. And the laundry business is a legal business. Again, there is nothing happening in owning a laundry business. So, what is the underlying idea that we are trying to understand? That in money laundering, the objective is always very clear. The objective is that you identify mechanisms through which you will channelize this money. In some cases, the mechanisms to channelize this illegally generated money would be legal mechanism. But that legal mechanism by default is a weak mechanism. A weak mechanism where there exists a loophole and you tend to exploit that loophole. That is why, if you observe very carefully, when we talk about countering the money laundering or preventing money laundering, we never create new instruments. We identify the weaknesses or loopholes that people are using in the existing mechanisms to circumvent the money. That is why, if you study about any country, including India, you will observe always a very, very peculiar thing, that a country like India, which is a very big victim of this money laundering activity, also does not invent, does not create, does not conceptualize a new mechanism to prevent it. What we try to do is identify, understand that when it comes to money laundering, what are those mechanisms that the people are using to launder wealth? And in ironically majority of the cases, we find that these mechanisms, as I said, and I use the word majority, which implies that it's not always, but in majority of the cases. In majority of the cases, the mechanism often is a legal mechanism. And that is why what we try to do is that we try to advocate the fact that the best way to tackle money laundering, to prevent money laundering, is to strengthen the existing mechanisms. Strengthen the existing mechanisms. Because there must be some weakness, some loophole that is often identified, and this loophole is something that needs to be plugged, because plugging the loophole is going to give you the result. Because when you plug that loophole, you prevent the launderer, the person doing money laundering, an opportunity to exploit this weak point or the sweet spot, as we may say. In a country like India, for example, banks for a very long period of time were used as channels to do money laundering. And we studied and we identified what are those reasons that people are able to identify in a bank that they are able to change the color of this money. We identified that people generate a lot of illegal cash, and then they come to deposit this cash in the banks. And the banks, by the virtue of allowing the people to have bank accounts, let them accept the cash. It is at this juncture that when the government identified this, they brought in certain mechanisms. One of the mechanisms was that if you deposit any cash above 50,000 rupees today, you cannot do it without quoting your PAN card. Did we create a new instrument here? Did we conceptualize a new grand strategy here to tackle money laundering? No. We just identified that loophole and we plugged that loophole. And the loophole that we identified was that the people were generating money through cash, depositing that cash from whatsoever the source may be, without any checks and balance, without any reporting into their accounts, and money generated through cash from any source, when deposited into an account in a bank, then became a legitimate source, because tomorrow, when you are going to use that money from your bank, the money from your bank is going to be legitimate money. But apparently, the beauty is that nobody actually knows what is the origin of that money and what is the origin of this cash. Everybody will know that it comes from your bank. And if we know that it comes from your bank, we perceive it to be legitimate. So the government identified, this is a weak point. This is a loophole. They identified that this loophole has to be plugged. How do you plug it? The only way to plug it was that the government just strengthened the existing mechanism. We never said don't deposit cash. We never created a new mechanism where you have to deposit cash through some vicarious means. All that we did was that we said that if you have to deposit cash above this certain threshold that we created, then this cash that you need to deposit should come with your permanent account number, PAN number. So that if any person today is trying to misuse an existing legal mechanism called bank to undertake the laundering process, then we are in a position to ensure that there is adequate checks and balances to prevent any misuse. So, therefore, friends, in this entire discussion that I have done with you, one thing should now become very clear, that when it comes to money laundering, the objective is always to ensure that we change the color of the money. The objective is always to make sure that the illegally generated wealth from any source is changed and given the appearance of a legal source. This transformation of money from an illegal source to a legal legitimate look is often done through use of some legitimate instruments in major cases, but not always. And that is why, considering the fact that majority of the times we tend to use the existing legal mechanisms, thereby we understand from that discussion that there are some loopholes or weaknesses in the existing mechanisms that need to be strengthened, that need to be worked upon. That is the reason why the preventive strategies for money laundering generally would not involve creating of new designs, but would primarily involve identification of existing loopholes which the launderers are trying to misuse, and the attempt would be to plug these loopholes by creating appropriate mechanisms. So I hope this brief, succinct discussion about money laundering has given you a fair enough idea about not only what this concept is, but also when we try to prevent this, what is the larger philosophy involved. Thank you.